Hey everybody, my name is Jared and I am a Master Mason in the state of Mississippi in the United States of America. And today's viewer's question is, can a Mason from one country go to another country's lodge, for example, traveling to the USA from Australia? Well, the simple answer is yes, but there's probably an underlying thing where you should check first. And then there's even more to say, call ahead, because you just need to make sure that whatever information you might have found online might not be up to date, such as when the lodge meets or even potentially their meeting location. So the best advice I have for you is paramount. Contact your Grand Lodge secretary. They're probably the best resource you have who can tell you what other Grand Lodges you are in fraternal relations with, meaning that you can go and visit that other country's lodges without any concern that they are considered a regular lodge by your Grand Lodge. Then the next step is to figure out what lodges are actually in that jurisdiction. Sometimes you can find websites that have lodge locators or other sort of map or references, sometimes even just lists, and you can try to sort it out yourself by city. But still, you have to delve a little deeper and find out, does that lodge still meet when the website says that it meets? And even if you can see online that a lodge meets on a certain day when you expect to be able to visit, maybe there's something going on at the lodge that day that you're not privy to, and it would still be best to call ahead and speak to the lodge secretary. Sometimes you can email. Last resort, you could always send a letter in the regular mail, and check a few things first. You can ask, starting with your Grand Secretary, like we did at the very beginning, what sort of documentation you might need. Here in the United States, going across jurisdiction boundaries, which simply means going to another state, you might just need your dues card, showing that you're a dues paying member that has the raised seal from your lodge. You may need to be able to pass an examination, which sometimes can be a slight challenge, but everybody generally understands that things are just a little bit different from one jurisdiction to another, and we can usually coach each other through what is really being asked so you can give the answer they're really looking for. So calling ahead of time or contacting the lodge ahead of time and asking those kind of questions, hey, I've got my dues card. Is there anything else you'd like me to bring with me? What is the dress code for your lodge? How disappointed in yourself would you feel if you went to a lodge and your normal attire for lodge might be blue jeans and a button-up shirt, but you come to find out that this lodge has a very strict policy about wearing black suits and a black tie, and now you show up and you're a visitor in this lodge, and as far as they're concerned, you look like you're dressed to go watch a movie. So asking those kind of things ahead of time might save yourself a little bit of embarrassment. It can also save you from over preparing. Who wants to travel and bring a suit when the blue jeans would have done? So take the time to ask. You also can make sure that there's not an event that's happening. Maybe even though it's their regular communication, they've got some very large bylaws changes that they're talking about. And he could say, brother, we don't mind if you come, but just so you know, this is going to be a very business-packed meeting, and we might not get any time to simply fellowship with you except over the meal. So knowing those things ahead of time could be pretty critical. Another potential resource for you, I've shared this before when I talked about Freemasons in Ghana, is a publication called List of Lodges Masonic. This is an outdated version, but you can get a new copy online. I'll reference you back to that Ghana Freemasons video if you want information on where to find it. And in here, they have what they believe to be the most current information about which lodges recognize which jurisdictions recognize which jurisdictions. The challenging thing can be when you visit other countries is who actually chartered the specific lodge. So for example, maybe you're going on vacation in someplace like Jamaica, and you're trying to find information about what lodges are there and if you can visit. But the catch is that the lodge in Jamaica, maybe it was chartered out of Scotland. Maybe it was chartered out of England. Maybe it's chartered out of Jamaica itself. And so using a resource like this can be a little bit challenging in that aspect. And you kind of have to reverse engineer it and see if you can get a contact with the lodge first and figure out who their charter is with, and then try to figure out whether or not you have those fraternal relations. So those are the kind of things that if I were you, I would check ahead of time. But the short and sweet answer is yes. Absolutely, you most certainly can. You should expect that things are going to be slightly different. The form is going to be a little bit different. The wording is going to be a little bit different. But the one thing that will remain consistent is the fellowship. Being there with your brothers in a lodge remains the same. So whether or not the forms and ceremonies are just also slightly different, doesn't matter in the end. So I hope you get the chance to travel. If you do, think about some things ahead of time. Maybe if you're only going to get to visit that one lodge, take something with you. Take something from your lodge. Maybe your lodge has a pin or a decal, or you can leave a nice letter behind. Anything like that that can just kind of extend that hospitality and make an impression. Not only leaves a good memory for them, but I think it's something that you'll take away and help you remember the whole experience as well. So that said, I don't get to travel very much, so I'm interested to hear from all of you down in the comments below what kind of experience you have had. Maybe you've got some other tips to brothers about traveling and how to find out whether a lodge in a particular city is part of the regular Grand Lodge, or whether it's part chartered out of a different country, or whatever it might be. So maybe you have other tips about how to make the experience even more beneficial to yourself and the lodge that you're visiting. So let us know down in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.